Welcome to the ScreenFlow recording for my final major project. Today we're going to be looking at the live set which I've started to create. We're just going to look at some of the components of it and some of the techniques I've used in order to set up and create it. The basic setup that I've got at the moment is a deck A. It's sort of like to represent an actual pair of CDJs or DJ decks, vinyl, whatever you want to call it. A deck A, a little splitter in the middle, and also a deck B. We've got a channel for some samples, another channel there for some more samples. So basically I've split each track into an intro, a main and an outro. And as you can see, they're all colour coordinated, so I know which track's which. On each channel strip we have an EQ3, which represents like a mixer, and we have the ability to control the low frequencies, the mid frequencies, and also the highs. We've also got an auto filter, which is another method of taking away frequencies, but in this case it's used in a sense of to make the mix more smooth when we actually go through with mixing the next track in. So we've got a few tracks that are already done. We've got about 6 tracks here. We've also got on the channel strip a ping pong delay, which I can trigger on and off at any point just to add a bit more of an effect, just to get a bit more creative. So the main thing that I've been having to do to actually set this live setup is warping within Ableton, and most of the time Ableton can do it for you using quantization, but when you're setting up a live set you need it to be right on the money, which is like what I mean is like in time with the actual global tempo of the track, because when you're actually mixing, if it is out even slightly, you will be able to hear it. So all I'm going to do today is just show you a little bit of warping, which I've done on the other tracks. I'm just going to put my next track in, which will be within my mix, and just show you the process. The set is actually going to be a jungle set throughout. I've picked some of my favourites, which will be going into it. So, next track that I will be warping will be this one right here, which is called Platypussy Far Away. I'm just going to drop that down there. Due to the fact it's the same colour as the roughest track, change the colour of that. Oh, similar. So once we've got our track and our deck, we can go ahead and press warp, and then we're just going to have a look, and we're going to split the track off into sections. So for now this looks to me like it's going to be the intro. We're just going to drag it down and shorten it up, and then what we're going to do is put the metronome on, which will tell us where we want each beat to be on, and we're at 90 BPM, so we're just going to go ahead and press play. Oh, I've got something else running in the background. Just get rid of this. So we don't actually start on a beat there, but we do know that the beginning of the track is right here where the first waveform appears. So we're going to go right in and just set that as 1.1 to tell Ableton that that is where the track starts, and that's where we're going to start warping from. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to try and ask Ableton to actually warp it for us. If we go from here, we might be able to see whether it's already doing the process for us.
Most of the sound them living in space, and the spiritual sound them living by grace. No time sound boy, Ableton is face. Corrections put in the right place. Sound boy, the words that on your mouth is like fungus, so you can go and talk till your tongue bust. Banking up yourself because them done bust. I done do all of them of your crown us here. No selectors out the road has been record, but them far from reality. Some said that them are done and them must step on them. Far, far, far away, yeah. Nobody sound go out the road where you receive and I give them. Far from reality. But now me friend cross the bridge right to which part me live in there. Far, far, far away, yeah.
That sounds pretty in time to me, to be fair. So Ableton's already actually warped that for us, as you can see. When waveforms are starting on the bar. That sounded pretty much in time, so I'm going to leave that for now because it's quite difficult to do when you've got no beat behind it. We're gonna then move this along, and we're gonna have a look at this main bit where the beat is about to kick in now.
Most of the sound them living in space, and the spiritual sound them living by grace. No time sound boy, Ableton is space. Correction put in the right place. Sound boy, the words that
That sounds pretty on, but just to be precise, we need to go in, and as we can see on this waveform here, it's slightly before the actual bar. So what we're going to do is we're going to add what's called a warp marker. We're going to double click there, and we're going to just drag it along so it's slightly more in time than it was. We'll have a listen to that.
most of the sound them living in space, and the spiritual sound them living by grace. No time.
I'm just going to go to the next one. I mean, you don't have to do this at every single point, but just to be like quite precise, you want to be doing it about every 8 bars, every 16 bars. Probably go with the 8, and that's a bit more like on time, to be fair. Obviously, the transients, they have the certain peaks, but sometimes that's not always where the sound is actually starting, and we want to be at the start of the sound. So as you can see, this one, although Ableton thinks that that's the start of the sound, it's actually this part here. So like from here, so that should be pretty much in time.
Sound boy, Ableton is space. Correction put in the right place. Sound boy, the words that on your mouth is like.
If we just look in here, that looks pretty on to me.
Most of the sound them living in space, and the spiritual sound them living by grace. No time sound boy, Ableton is space. Correction put in the right place. Sound boy, the words that on your mouth is like fungus, so you can go and talk till your tongue bust. Banking up yourself because them done bust. I done do all of them up the crowd us here. So selectors out the road has been record, but them far from reality. Some said that them are done and them must step on them. Far, far, far away, yeah. Nobody don't say out the road where you receive and not give them. Far from reality. But now me friend cross the bridge right to which part me live in there. Far, far, far away, yeah.
So it can get a bit difficult when there's a lot of waveforms and they're quite large. It's hard to tell where the first beat is. So it does sound in time. The best thing is just to try and be like, that looks pretty much on to me. That's where the waveform's going to start. I mean, you can't get it absolutely precisely on time. I mean, you can have a good go at it and you can get better, but the thing with warping is that it's all about just practice and keep doing it. The more you do it, the better you will get at it. So like that bit seems pretty on in time, and we're just gonna have a listen to this next bit, see if we can see any details that might not be in there. Slightly left to the right. You do have to train your ways just to try. It's like, I mean, you can use waveforms, but as you can see, that when they're quite cloudy like this, it then becomes a job. So that's just your basic audio warping there. Really cool feature of Ableton Live is right down here in your warp sections, you've got actual options to choose from, and this is to do with the way in which Ableton will warp it. It takes into account like if it's a vocal, it'll try and keep all aspects of the vocal, so it'll try and stretch it in a way that isn't too radical. So like it'd slow the vocal down like really badly, or it'll like obviously when you're stretching things, you're making it so that the time that it takes to play them is either longer or shorter. So it's the actual speed in which Ableton is going to read it, in a sense. This affects the tone and the pitch of the actual audio. So Ableton gives you a few options. Beats, so that's more for like drums, if you're stretching any breaks or anything. All the way, I tend to just use complex, which means that when you're stretching an actual track which has got a mixture of vocals, drums, synths, everything like that, then complex is like a middle ground in a sense. It really tries to analyse the track and see what's in there. But yeah, if you were to be stretching just an a cappella vocal, for instance, that's where you'd go to use tones. Yeah, but I just leave it on complex because I think that's the best one for actually warping tracks as a whole.